Thank you for coming to our free Friday trainings. I really appreciate it. Today, we're going to talk about social media trends this year and beyond. Social media has changed so much in the last, I'd say 24 months. It's really taken a turn from what I used to teach. I would never teach the same thing now that I taught before. So first, we're going to look back at where we started and think about it. When platforms first came out, they were a place to connect with friends and family. That was it. You got on there, your friends and family got on there, and there you were. The content you posted reached everyone. There were no throttling algorithms and no ads. So when we think back to MySpace, which was in 2003, which was what? A long time ago.
18 years.
Thank you, David. And
just so you know, your presentation isn't showing. I wasn't sure if you want it to be.
Yes, I do. What's going on?
I'm not sure. We're seeing you. I mean, it's fine,
Okay.
But yeah, presentation is not showing currently.
Okay, and I thought it was showing that whole time, David, that I was sitting here. I didn't scratch my head or anything weird, did I?
No, you were fine.
So what? Thank you very much.
Yep.
Because of course it was. Okay, so that where we were. Now?
Yep, we're good.
Excellent. Okay. So my next screen, which is where we all started. Here we go. It's Friday. What can I say? Anyway, so MySpace was a place to be, and it was 2003. And like David did the math for me, it was 18 years ago, which in computer years is like dinosaur age. Curiosity, and a show of hands, how many people actually had a MySpace page? Facebook started in 2004. Twitter in 2006, with hashtags coming in 2007 and 2009. The big jump here was in smartphone. Oops, when I point, I shouldn't click. What can I say? Here we go. Smartphones in 2010 were the big change, absolutely big change. That changed everything. And Instagram started shortly after that. So anybody raise their hand, David, for having a MySpace page?
I'm not seeing any, but I will raise my hand. I had one.
Had or have?
Well, I don't know, actually. It might still exist. I have no idea. Yeah. Oh, there we go. We got one from Courtney Smith.
Okay, thanks, Courtney. No, it was a really long time ago. Anyway, so where we are now, there are too many platforms and too little time. It's not just personal, it's business also. Your reach is limited because there's no more really organic reach. It's really promoted or paid for reach. Advertising has fueled the algorithm for sure. Reaching potential clients is now pay for play. There's no doubt if you want to reach more people, you have to pay to either boost or advertising. You absolutely have to have a plan. It's not just posting once or twice a week or having a theme. It is an actual advertising plan, and video is king. Would you agree with all of those, David?
Yeah, so I would absolutely agree with that, especially with the advertising portion. You'll talk about this in a little bit, but organic reach has nosedived, doved, whatever, in the past like 10 years. So it's super important to be advertising if you're on social media at all.
Okay, so here's the big thing. There are 3.78 billion social media users, and this is daily activity, which is just kind of overwhelming. You'll note at the bottom of each slide I have put a note where I found my data, so you can check on that later. That's 50% of the population. That's just amazing. And from that, we're going to look at what the mobile traffic is here. So global mobile traffic, because you need to understand too that some places don't have desktops. They only have their mobile phones, and they do all their social media on it. So you can see from 2011, when we first got our phones, to 2021, what the change has been. And so here are the platforms, and I couldn't find all of them. So in a graph, so of course, Facebook is the number one used no matter what. YouTube comes in a big second, and you guys all should know that YouTube is owned by Google. Then you have Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok, but doesn't mean you should be on all of them, but these are the big platforms. And here was another social media statistic, because this one included Pinterest and WhatsApp and LinkedIn. So like I said, I couldn't get them all on one graph. I couldn't find it. But you need to find your clients and know where your clients are on each of these platforms before you plan your advertising and what's going on in each of those platforms. So let's look at those. So if we look at monthly average users on each of the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Now, when you think of all of these, having WhatsApp and Messenger down in 3 and 4 has a lot to do with people communicate on them all the time. So WhatsApp has monetized, but I use WhatsApp because when I'm traveling or somewhere where I can't get a phone, WhatsApp can make a phone call on the internet or text, and it's great. Facebook is still the one people look at the most. YouTube being video, which video is king, is second. So you need to know where you need to be and where your client is and how many people are there on a monthly basis. So let's talk about how we use social media today. We do not get up off the couch to look something up on our computer. We use our phone or we use our iPad, which is laying in the living room. So you need to make sure anything you do is scaled for that. We order what we need for immediate use, whether we're ordering through Grubhub or DoorDash or any of those places. Our groceries, our food to be delivered, whatever it is, Amazon for something we need because we don't want to go out. It's an immediate use order. People spend 147 minutes a day on social media networks. And like I said, I contribute to that personally by using TikTok. I can get lost and realize 45 minutes have gone by. It's just scary. And we use it not just for connecting, we use it for our news and entertainment at this point. So David, would you think there are other uses, or these are the big ones that people use it for?
Those are the big ones. I'd say staying in touch with friends is also one.
Yes.
Also super important. Connections, I would say, would be a broader category of it.
Okay. So Facebook, here we go. Facebook engagement rate, and this was what we talked about in terms of the organic reach. If you look at the number of people who see a post you make, it's abysmal, absolutely abysmal. You post, you have content on there, because if someone comes to your Facebook page, you want to have content there that they can read. But the average post is not getting anywhere. Facebook has a huge network. David highlighted Bluster when he went through this to ask me what I meant by it. It wasn't me that put it in. So I think they're boasting that they have 9 million active. That's really what they're doing in 2020, that they're boasting they have 9 million active users. And their advertising does get the best ROI results through their advertising. So one of the things we do is the 2 top things we work with is Facebook and Google pay-per-clicks, because that's where you find most of your audience. So over 80% have access to Facebook, and 70% of mobile users use it. Like I said, people have their computer on their phone, they don't go back to their desktop. So Facebook is definitely someplace where you want to use advertising. So these are the top Facebook trends that are coming this year and next year. Facebook stories, if you're telling a story. Facebook Live has been here a while, but using it because Facebook likes its live videos on Facebook better than you pulling in one from YouTube, because each platform thinks they're the best and only wants you there. Video is still king, because when you scroll over a video, it automatically starts to get people interested and get them to hover over it for a while to watch it. When you look at your statistics for video, both on all of the platforms, they tell you how long somebody watched it. So an auto start gets them started. Chat box are here. They've been here for a while. I think they've come and gone. The problem I have with chat bots is that they've put too much AI in them, and now it's still not, it's not talking, and I might as well be on hold on the phone, because it just goes in a loop until you get to a customer service person. Yeah, more paid ad spending. You got to pay for play. There's no possible way you can't do that. Focusing on your customer's journey and tracking that with specific measurements. Making sure your brand voice is the same on Facebook if you're quoting your company as it is on all of your other pages. Customizing that page. There's so many ways to customize your page, but I would say be careful, depending on if your Facebook page is where you're doing all your business, then customize it. If not, realize you need to keep it simple, so because people aren't going to go to everything. Facebook Spaces will be a thing. I don't know what that is. David, do you have any idea what that is?
I don't, but I can do a quick little search and get back to you.
Okay, so the deal is Facebook still remains the top place where you can find people, because there are so many people there. And you as a business, and we're talking about business, not personal here, is that you can choose who you're sending it to. You choose demographics. You can choose who you're looking at. The biggest problem we have right now going into it, and I'll talk to a little bit, is the cookie issue. And we're going to talk about that as we go down farther into advertising.
So Facebook Spaces is the social media's company's virtual reality application. So essentially you become an avatar and then you can interact with people as the avatar. It's like a Sims kind of looking thing, but virtual reality based.
That's interesting. So they would ask me a question and I would answer it as an avatar?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Interesting. That'll be interesting, David. We'll have to check that out. Anyway, also the Facebook deal is that for a minimal amount of money, so you can do from $100 a month to $1,000 a month or more in advertising and get some results. You don't have to put a huge amount of money behind it. You can start small and find out what is working for you and then move to a larger amount to bring in more. So we're moving to YouTube, the second largest one. I need a drink, hang on. Okay, 70% of watch time is done on mobile devices. So, which absolutely shocks me because it's this little tiny small screen, right? I was watching on TV an interview with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck about their new movie. And the interviewer said it was a great movie. And she said she didn't even recognize Ben Affleck because of all the makeup on him. And she said, but to be clear, I watched it on my phone. And I thought the two of them were going to absolutely fall out of their chairs because that's not what it's meant to be. But you need to understand when you're advertising or doing something, how many people watch things on their phone or look up things on your phone. And you need to put your advertising in a small size venue so that it can be seen and understood. So 2 billion logged in users. It's amazing how many, and 1 billion hours of video is on YouTube. So 40%, I had to look up YOY, it's year over year. The growth has earned channel 6 figures a year. And I know that most of you who are here today are not coming here to understand I can monetize YouTube. It's using YouTube to push people to your business. But the fact is that YouTube continues to grow and make changes. And it was interesting, it controls a third of the internet. I don't believe that any of you have not gone to YouTube to look up how to do something or to find an answer for something. And you don't always find the answer you want the first time you watch a video. You have to watch 2 or 3, but it's there and you can use it to pull into your other platforms, and Google looks at it as with SEO eyes. So it's very important. So here's some trend highlights. 400 hours of videos are uploaded every minute. I uploaded 2 hours this morning to my YouTube channel, and it's consistently growing. 1 billion hours of video are watched daily. And it is a reliable social channel for marketing or entertainment. And it was interesting, one of the facts that was on there was viewers spend 8 times longer watching a live video than an on-demand video. I don't know if it's because they're watching to see what happens. I don't know if they think, oh, I need to go do something else and I can come back to this, but they stick with the live piece. So, and you can go live on YouTube just like you can go live on Facebook. There are not as many viewers on YouTube, but if you use YouTube to push out, then it holds your video and you can share it. So YouTube is a very viable option to help you with your video marketing. So here are some trends for YouTube that you should know. It continues to grow exponentially. They do battle misinformation just as Facebook and all the platforms do. YouTube Live is a big thing. You can put products on it and you can shop from YouTube now. I think there's a new buy now button. David, have you noticed that?
On YouTube, I have not.
Okay, I'll look into that more. How-to tutorials are great, telling people how to do things. You know, every time we do one of these videos, I edit it, take off the front where we're waiting and take off any of the end where the discussion is not pertinent. And I upload it so people can go back and watch it. So these are just training videos, but how to use your product, how to get something done, very important. There are just so many different things that you can do on YouTube, some that just don't apply. You can also do micro ads that are like 30 seconds long or 8 seconds long that you can put on YouTube. So there's a lot you can do, but for a practical business use for the clients that I work with, it's having the channel, putting up content, putting the right SEO information in it, linking it back to your website, and pulling those assets into your other channels, which is what really does it. The 360-degree videos are great that you can take. Now, you all have a phone, a camera on your phone that you can use to do anything at this point. So let's look at, across the board, the 8 important social media trends coming up. So social media is emerging as a shopping platform. You know, we've all sat on the couch. Again, I'm talking about this. We all sat on the couch and looked something up on our phone, or we pulled Amazon up and ordered a couple things we need. So it is a platform to sell things. If you don't have an actual product and it's a service, that's a little different thing. Short form video content. Actually, people are watching videos a little longer than originally, but now, you know, those 10 and 20-second video contents, that bite-sized content for people to digest and come back for more. Social media is becoming a part of daily life. Facebook remains on top. People have a shorter attention span, which I mentioned a little earlier, results in that bite-sized content. We're all very busy. So we need little pieces, not the whole story, but little pieces. Augmented reality options, I'm not sure how applicable that is to all of us, but it's there. Growing the utilization of user-generated content. And to understand that, I would say crowdsourcing is a way. So one of the early adopters was Waze, and they had everyone report stuff that was going on. So they had users who were telling all this stuff, give them feedback, and help them promote content. So having your clients give reviews, tell them about how they used a product, things like that, is helping that content. It's a fine line for people who want complete control, or if companies have compliance issues they have to do, but it helps you with content and helps your reach. The unbundling of Reddit. Reddit is just a mammoth of a piece, and they're going to break it into smaller pieces. I should say, if anyone has any questions at any time, David, you're going to come in with them, right?
Yep. Well, they've been asking, but I've been answering. So
Excellent.
Yep.
Even better. Thanks, David.
yeah, no problem.
So let's look at specific marketing trends for Facebook right now. Facebook wants you to be the first choice for video marketing. They want your videos there. They're going to push your videos more than static content. They want them to be more personal and emotional, focusing on storytelling. So when you're working on your brand and your company, you have to have some type of story that you can push out. Live streaming has always been there. The 360-degree videos are becoming popular because you know what's going on around everyone. Here's where the average is increased from 2 minutes and 30 seconds to 3 minutes. So you're getting a whole extra 30 seconds there. So these two right here, these two, but can you see my cursor? The average length and people's attention are counterintuitive to each other. So I don't know what to tell you because this came from Reel. Instagram stories will surpass Snapchat in popularity. I believe that. People use their phones to watch video content rather than a computer or a TV. Yes, you have to start paying for advertising on YouTube and Facebook and Google. That's just part of the deal. Nothing's going to be, like we said, organic or viral anymore. YouTube and Instagram will continue to grow video marketing channels. You'll be able to purchase goods from your friends and post through social media. Yeah, here it was. The company is experimenting with a buy button that lets users buy without leaving Facebook's website. So that's going to be huge for people who sell products, and I think that's very intriguing. So here's some bigger items for marketing trends for 2020, and the biggest one is the cookie is dead. The GDPR has killed the cookie. And what this means is the way you used to track if you did this. So if you put a Facebook pixel on your website and people would go to your website, Facebook would capture it, and then you could market back to them. And I'm not sure how that whole piece is going to work as the cookie continues to die and people opt out of it as soon as they hit your computer. This is the biggest one, which I've talked about for years, is owning your own audiences. Social media networks build their platforms to get people in. If your entire audience is on Facebook, and I know people who have their business on Facebook, which is fine, but when Facebook went down for a day and a half, they were done. So it's really important for you as you work on these platforms that you drive them back to your site and you capture their information so that you can have a one-to-one with your audience. Simplicity is king. Too much complication, they don't have time for it. Conversational marketing, understanding what your clients want and what you can give them is very important. Adopt automation, and what I mean like that is not the chatbot that I told you I didn't like. Adopting automation is getting people to sign up for something on your website, whether it's a white paper or a free something or whatever it is, capturing that information, dropping it on an email drip campaign, and making automation work for you so that you do not have to take that, look up who signed up, then create an email, and then do it. You need it to work for you. Zero-click searches is when you put a question in and the answers come up. One of the things is you say how to do this, okay, how to change something, and then it comes up with 3 different answers. That's important because then I can just read the answer right there. It tells where it's from. And you can get the results in the zero-click searches by creating an FAQ page, putting that question in and putting the answers in. Google then will search it, and some of those will start popping into those zero-click searches. Biggest thing you're going to take away today is Google My Business. You want the local SEO. If you have not claimed your Google My Business page, you need to. Everyone searches on Google. Google has all the businesses. It puts them into that second group on the page because there is no organic reach on Google anymore. The ads are at the top. The local listings are in the middle, and then there's more ads at the bottom. So you need to embrace Google My Business. You need to use it for SEO and for posting and getting Google to know you. Then there's visual and voice search, and we use it more and more. We didn't think much of it at the beginning, but now you don't want to type the whole sentence in on your phone because we're using our phones more. You push the microphone and you read the sentence to it, and that's a visual search. So you want to make sure that you're optimized for that. Expanding on online reviews, very important that you find a way to get people to put the reviews on. You can do Facebook and Google, which are the big two. You can also do Yelp, but you need, or if you're in a different platform, if you're on a real estate platform, maybe you want it on Zillow, I don't know, but you need to garner these reviews and then pull them in. If you have a WordPress site, you can put something like Rapuzo in and pull all of your reviews on off of all the different sites, which is great for your website. The next thing is creating mobile first websites. You want to make sure whatever you do looks good on your phone and I can read it, because that's where everyone is. And at the bottom, I wanted to remind you that the death of the cookie is big, and where we're going, we just don't know at this point. Any comments on any of these, David?
None yet. I've answered everything that's come in.
Okay. So what do you need to decide, right? What is it you need to decide? You need to know what platforms will work for you and know where your customer is. Don't spread yourself too thin. Create an ad budget, create specific goals, and you need to know what those goals are and that you're reaching those goals. And I know our big goal is to make a sale, but that's not everything. So David, what are those 3 buckets again?
Awareness, consideration, and conversion.
So consideration, engagement kind of are interchangeable depending on what platform you're reading. But yes, you have to do that. That's how you make them aware of you, you make them consider you, and then you convert them. And that is your plan for your goals and how you're going to do that. And we are to the end, and we're opening up for any other questions we might have, David.
None yet.
So we put a lot of information into this today, or I did, and it was an overview of where we're going, not specific. I did get specific on a couple of platforms. Next month on November 19th, we are going to look at your analytics and how to plan from those analytics, what your analytics say on Facebook, what your analytics say on your website, and what do you need to do in response to those, to change them to see what you want. So I'm excited about that one. Both David and Jen will be there to look at Facebook analytics and Google pay-per-click analytics.
We did have one question come up.
Yep.
Is there a good site or place to search for the demographics of all of the social media that has been mentioned? I'll take this one. If you use a platform such as Hootsuite, they provide some analytics. But in terms of one kind of where you can all see all of the different platforms and insights, you really need to invest in something like Hootsuite or Sprout Social or Mav Social, because otherwise you'll have to go to each and every platform to see the analytics and see kind of where the metrics and demographics are for each platform.
Yeah, so we use both depending on our customer, Hootsuite and Mav Social. Does the free Hootsuite give you the demographics and analytics, David?
I'm not sure because we only use the paid, so
I
I'm not
know.
really
So we
positive.
only use the paid because when you use the free one, it says posted by Hootsuite. They're promoting themselves. Um, but if you're going to be serious about what you're doing, you might want to invest in one of those. What is Hootsuite a month? Do you remember, David?
No, I'm
Me
useless.
neither.
Yeah, I'm not
Sadly,
sure.
it's
Apologize.
okay. Again, when you put a budget together, when you plan your advertising budget, planning a platform for you to use is very important. So you should consider that. And if you don't want to go to one of the bigger platforms, I know that Constant Contact has added some analytics for social media and in the back end, and you can start small and then switch to a bigger one. So using something so you don't have to go to each different piece and seeing it all in one place is much easier because then you have a snapshot of what's happening.
That's all the questions.
Thank you so much for coming today. And I hope that you have a great Friday and a wonderful weekend. And I hope to see you back here on November 19th. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.